Good morning. Good morning. Romy, we are about to start. Thank you with the music. Good morning, everyone. Can you listen to me? Romy, can you confirm if you can listen to me?
Yes,
Okay. Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Jimena from Eurotour in Argentina. It's still night here in Argentina, so good morning to you. A new day to you. We are still on Thursday. Well, I would like to give you a welcome to all of you. Thank you very much to join us on this webinar. My name is Jimena. Some of you already know me for previous meeting, virtual meeting, chats, emails, and some of you already know me in person. So it's very nice for me to see you again, at least virtually today. On this webinar is with me, Romina. She is also working in Eurotour in the sales department. Romina, if you would like to say hi.
Hello to everyone and welcome.
Okay, so well, we today we are going to talk about this webinar today is about the highlights of South America. We will be covering the main destinations, the highlights of Argentina, Brazil, and Peru. Just for you to know, of course, South America is much more than what we will see today, but the idea is for me to explain you which are the highlights that you will see and which are the attractions, the main attractions that you will see in a traditional and popular program to South America. Okay, so you will see that I will be explaining about the destination, but all the time giving a relation to what you see as if it were a traditional program. Okay, so there are much more to see, but it's not covering today. If you have any doubt along the webinar, you can use the chat box and we will be answering your question. Don't worry if we don't answer any of your questions, because then we can be in touch even after this webinar to answer any of your pending questions. So I'm going to start because there's a lot of information and I don't want to take you just much more time. So again, thank you for joining us. And I know that there are many people also joining us from other parts besides Asia. So welcome all. So we start. Okay. Romy, please confirm if you can see the screen. I changed the screen.
Yes,
Is it
Jime.
okay?
Yes,
okay, thank you.
it's okay.
Okay. Well, starting with this webinar. So South America is much more than we will see today. Sorry if I'm going to be a little bit fast, but it's a lot of information. And so the idea is that we cover as much as possible. So South America is much more than we will see today. Just for you to remind you that South America and the countries of interest in South America are Argentina, our country, Brazil, Peru, Uruguay, Chile, Bolivia, Ecuador. If we are coming from Asia, there are different gateways to arrive to South America. Something very important. If we are talking about a program that will be combining more than one country, we will be for sure arriving to one city in the international flight, and we will be departing from a different city. This is the idea to get a convenient international flight. And the domestic flight, the other flights that you will need to cover the other destination, the domestic and the regional flights, we can help you in that case with the bookings, and we can issue the ticket for you if necessary. So you can take care of the international flight. Some of the airlines, of course, depending on the destination you are coming from, some of the airlines that actually are arriving to the cities of interest. In Argentina to Buenos Aires. In Brazil, we can use two cities. Take note that sometimes if we arrive to Brazil, some of the airlines arrive to Sao Paulo. Not all the airlines will arrive to Rio de Janeiro. So in that case, it will be necessary sometimes to spend one night in Sao Paulo that we add to the program just to continue the next day to our main destination that will be Rio de Janeiro. And in case of Peru, we have some other airlines. Normally, when we are talking about the three countries, we arrive to Buenos Aires and we depart from Rio de Janeiro or in the inverse order. So some of the airlines we arrive, so just for you to see in the map, we will be covering today Buenos Aires as the international cities for where you can arrive, Buenos Aires, Lima, Sao Paulo, and Rio de Janeiro. And the regional and international flights we used to use Aerolíneas Argentinas, LATAM Gold, that are the airlines that can be booked with us. First of all, we are Eurotour, our company. Why Eurotour? If you are using Eurotour, remember that our company will be giving you the assistance of booking all the services in all the countries, not only Argentina. And some of the trademarks about our company and the ones you see on the right side. So some of the important points. We are the journey specialized. The idea is that you can work with us as the local experts for your for these destinations. Remember that Eurotour, our company, has 4 local offices in 4 cities of main touristical cities in Argentina, which is very important to mention also because we are local, not only in Buenos Aires, the capital city, but also in these other cities in Argentina, Calafate, Ushuaia, and Salta. These 2 cities we are not seeing today, but in Calafate, we have also a branch. So just to recap, what we see today, some of the main destinations included in a traditional and popular program to South America. In Argentina will be Buenos Aires and Iguazu, that for sure you will be visiting. El Calafate will depend on if you have time or not, because a program including the 3 countries will be necessary to consider about 9 nights. And also we need to add the flight time. So it will be a long program, so you need time. El Calafate can be even offered to your clients as a post-tour or a pre-tour if necessary, so you cannot, you don't need to avoid to offer El Calafate as well. In Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, I add also Iguazu because Iguazu has a part in Brazil and also in Argentina. And Sao Paulo, as I explained, you will be included or not, depending on the flight, the international flight, if you arrive to Sao Paulo and need 1 night. And Peru, Lima, Cusco. These are the main destinations, not the only one, okay? But these are the destinations we will see today. Just to give you a quick information about gastronomy, because the gastronomy, I know that sometimes it's a concern, which are the meals that your passengers can have once in South America, because of course we are a different continent, our meals can be a little bit different than yours. So what we normally do with passengers coming from Asia is that we offer different type of, mainly in the main cities, in the capital cities is where we can find a big variety of restaurants, including some Chinese, Japanese, depending on the city. When we travel inside the countries, it will be more difficult to find special meals. So, but don't worry, because normally what we do is that works very well is include any kind of buffet meal. Sometimes you like to also taste the local food, and we also do that. The vegetarian menus that are normally very important and need for our clients from India, for example. So these are the different restaurants we can find depending on the destination. So don't worry, we can handle your needs in the best as possible way. Just to give you another quick information about the current situation, by the way, I really hope all of you are well and healthy. Stay safe. I didn't say this before. I really hope all of you are well at this moment. About the COVID situation right now in our country, we still have the borders closed. Some exceptions, but in particular cases, not for tourists at the moment. In Brazil, the borders are open and you can arrive by plane. There are a few requirements, like the PCR, negative PCR, no quarantine at this moment. And in Peru, at the moment, the borders are partially open because some countries cannot arrive to Peru. You cannot arrive from some countries to Peru. And they are, among other requests, they are requesting quarantine. So in that case, it's not possible. I'm sorry, we have an interruption. I'm sorry. Okay. Another important point, check about the visa. There are many countries that are requesting visa to come to this country. Sometimes, depending on the country, you need to apply to one visa or to the 3 visas in case you visit the 3 countries. So pay attention, check the visa requirements before plan any trip to South America. Can be necessary to apply to 1 or more visas or no visa, depending on the country and the country you're coming from. So starting with our first country, Argentina, just to give you few information, remember our official language is the Spanish and the currency is the peso. The main airports for international flights is the Ezeiza International Airport, and we also have in Buenos Aires another airport that is used for domestic flights. So pay attention also because there are 2 airports in Buenos Aires, but the main, the gateway to Buenos Aires is the international airport called Ezeiza. Another important detail is depending on the cities you will be visiting, check the weather because depending on the time of the year you come, and if you are going to go to Patagonia, the south area of the country, so probably you need to pack a lot of clothing, different clothing for different weathers because our country, because of because of the size of our country, we have different weathers all along the country. So it's important for you to check also and give us a correct suggestion to your clients. Starting with our first destination in Argentina, that is also the gateway to the country, probably the first destination of our program to South America, is Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires is located right here. This is our country. And Buenos Aires is located right here. It's the capital city of Argentina. We have, well, 4 seasons for the weather, so check about this. You can come to all the destinations we will see today. You can come all year round, so you don't refuse to come, even if it's winter for us. Don't worry, it's low season, and sometimes it's better to come on low season because prices can be more convenient. So don't refuse to come at any time of the year because the destination we will see today can be visited all year round. Starting with the first tour we will be able to offer in Buenos Aires, and that you can see in the programs to South America. Buenos Aires, the city tour, of course, can be done in a half day or in a full day. And some of the highlights we see in a city tour, for example, the Pink House, which is our government house, Casa Rosada in its Spanish name, the main square with the Casa Rosada, the Pink House over here, the obelisk. These are the attractions, the points of interest during the city tour. The obelisk, the Colón Theater, that is a world famous theater that probably many of you already heard about. Recoleta Cemetery, sometimes you don't want to include the visit inside the cemetery. We respect that. Just let us know that you don't want to include the visit inside the cemetery. If not, it's part of the city tour, the visit inside. Floralis at Recoleta neighborhood, the Congress building. A very important point, of course, everything we will see is are attractions that are seen in a passing by way, okay? You are not going to go inside. At least you ask for a visit inside, so we work on that for you especially. If not, the entrance are not included to those buildings, at least, unless we advise about that. The Women's Bridge, the Puente de la Mujer, it's a Spanish name. In Puerto Madero, which is the newest neighborhood in the city. Going outside Buenos Aires city, some of the attractions that we can include during your stay in Buenos Aires that normally is from 2 to 3 nights average, the stay in Buenos Aires. We can go to Tigre. Tigre and Delta, we can do also a tour in a half on a full day. So we go outside the city to see a different landscape in the Delta area, where we also include a little boat tour. This is one of the type of embarkation that we can use during the tour. It will depend if we are doing in a sitting coach or in a private service, but this is one example only. So we include a little boat tour about 1 hour in the river. Another of the tour we can do from Buenos Aires city. This is a full day, and it's a very typical also. It's a tour that also the people is very interested in doing during their stay in Buenos Aires. Is the Fiesta Gaucha. It's a full day tour where we go to the countryside, so a little bit far from Buenos Aires, not to Tigre like we saw recently, just to the countryside to see how is a little bit about how is we can get involved about how is the farm, how is the countryside, the surroundings in Buenos Aires. We can see and learn about how is the life, the gaucho life in Buenos Aires. We will be seeing a little show, depending on the ranch, because there are different ranches where we can do the tour, but in a sitting coach and in a popular way, we will see Santa Susana. This ranch, Santa Susana, is the one we use a lot. And so we will see a little show, a folklore show. We will see also the demonstration of gaucho skills during the day. We can do a little bit horse riding. It will depend on the ranch, but those are the activities that can be included during the visit to the ranch. Something very popular and something that, of course, it's a must during your stay in Buenos Aires is to go and see a tango show that normally is included with the dinner that is before the tango show. If you don't have time or if you don't want to include the dinner, it's possible also to go and see the show only. So it's also a must because it's our national dance. So it's part of the experience of the city to come and see how these people dance the tango that is very popular dance for us. And Buenos Aires, of course, is our capital city. It's much more than what we see. If we have time, there are many other activities. We have the possibility to get involved with sports and patients in different ways. We can get involved with other buildings that can be visited along and stayed in Buenos Aires. Again, it's much more than what we see, but what we see is basically what we include during your stay in Buenos Aires from 2 to 3 nights here. I'm sorry if I'm going fast, but again, there's a lot of information and not a lot of time, so don't worry if you have doubts, you can ask. Don't refuse to ask. Continue with our next destination in Argentina is Iguazu. So it's located right here. Pay attention because there is a special location in Iguazu, because here we have 3 countries at the same point. We have Paraguay, Brazil, and Argentina. So where we find Iguazu, there are 3 cities around, 3 countries around. So it's a very typical and special location, and I will explain you why. Also, it's important to consider about the location in Iguazu. So we go to Iguazu for sure to see the falls. That is, again, one of the attractions all over the world that attract our tourists to our country. How to reach Iguazu? So we will need to take an airplane, and take a flight to get Iguazu, because we have about 2 hours from Buenos Aires, but we can also connect Iguazu. If we continue after Iguazu, for example, to Brazil, in a case of a program with Buenos Aires and Brazil, for example, if we continue then to Brazil, so we fly directly from Iguazu, we don't return to Buenos Aires, we continue from Iguazu, we can fly to Rio de Janeiro in case we continue to Brazil. So from Buenos Aires is 2 hours, and if we continue from Iguazu, for example, to Rio de Janeiro, we have 2 hours and 15 minutes to Rio de Janeiro, Or in case we continue from Iguazu to Lima, we have 4 hours flight. All the destinations we will see today will be connected by flights all the time, okay? Because the distance are long distance, so nothing can be done by bus. All the time, from one destination to the next one, we will be taking a flight. So remember that in case of Iguazu, we have borders not only with Paraguay, also with Brazil, but the most important is Brazil because Paraguay is not visited during the stay in Iguazu. The climate is more tropical and more warm, and again, you can visit all year round, and a minimum of 2 nights are required to visit Iguazu. Sometimes we have groups coming with 1 night, but I really don't suggest you. So an important information about Iguazu, the falls, the national park are divided between Argentina and Brazil. So Brazil have a part, a smaller part, and Argentina has a bigger part and another part. So this is why when we are in Iguazu, we visit both sides of the falls, the Argentinian and the Brazilian. And another important detail, in case you need to apply for visa, check that your visa will be of multiple entries, because if you are staying in Iguazu, you can stay in hotels in the Argentinian side or in Brazilian side, but check for the visa request, because to cross and visit the Iguazu Falls in the Brazilian side, you need to cross to Brazil. So probably you will need to enter the country twice. So my recommendation is always apply for multiple entries visa. The main tours when we are in Iguazu, of course, the Argentinian side of the falls. It's a full day tour if we are going to do in the complete way. So the idea is that you go to we take the passengers to the Argentinian side of the falls to visit this national park, the Argentinian National Park, and you will be doing the different circuits that can be taken once in the park. You have a lower circuit, a superior circuit, and also the Devil's Throat circuit. So when you do the full day tour, you visit all the circuits, so you can get different points of view of the falls, from the inferior, from the superior, and also the Devil's Throat, that is one of the most attractive part of the tour. So it's very impressive because you have different views of the falls all along the tour. This is the balcony to where you get when you are doing the Devil's Throat. So probably many of you already heard about this because it's very impressive when you get the balcony and you are right there in the most impressive fall among the others in the park. So it's very, very impressive. You need to do this circuit for sure, even if you have not enough time and you need to choose one circuit. So always the suggestion is to do this for sure. This is the path that takes you to the balcony we saw before. This is an aerial view of the same path that takes you to this place. This is the balcony we saw in the picture, so you can have an idea of how impressive it is. So this is it's amazing, honestly. And the Great Adventure also is normally it's an optional tour. Sometimes it's not included in the program cost, but you should offer this as optional because it's very interesting, because it is a boat tour that takes you right very close to the falls, and you can be even under the falls, almost under the falls. You get wet literally when you do this tour, and you need to change clothes after it, because really for sure you are going to go to this place. This is a tour that option is normally offered as optional. The next tour is, of course, the Brazilian side of the falls. Sometimes the different that when you you can wonder which is the difference. The Brazilian side is the smaller part of the park, but what is very interesting of visiting the Brazilian side is that you can get a panoramic view of the falls in the Argentinian side from the Brazilian side. So it's very nice. And in the Argentinian side, the attraction is that you are almost inside the falls. This is the difference when you see both parks. And the idea, of course, is that you visit both parks, not to choose one, because it's different the experience that you get from one and to the other one. These are some pictures of the path, the circuit that you have in the Brazilian side. And it's a half-day tour, different than the Argentinian, that is a full-day tour. This is a half-day tour. But you can also offer as optional the helicopter ride when you do the Brazilian side, if you want to offer this as optional, because it's an expensive tour. So the suggestion is not included in the cost of the program and offered by optional. And there is optional the possibility to visit the birds park when you do the Brazilian side, because sometimes it's interesting. Sometimes we have groups that are very interested in the birds, the local birds. So it's a very complete park that can be done together with the Brazilian side if you would like to include also this part. Up to here, Iguazu. We continue with Calafate. If you remember, I told you before that Calafate can be included or not. It will depend on how many days we have in total. If not, just try to offer El Calafate as a pre or post tour. So give the possibility to your clients to visit El Calafate if they want to stay longer. El Calafate is the city located in the south area of Argentina, what we call Patagonia. You will hear a lot, Patagonia. This name is like we call to the south area of the country. And of course, we go to El Calafate to get involved with the glaciers. How to reach Calafate? Again, we need to take a flight. From Buenos Aires, it's about 2 hours. But also because of the location close to Chile, we are not seeing Chile today, but just for you to know, we can reach Calafate coming from Chile also, by bus in that case. But by plane from Buenos Aires, it's 2 hours. We need to stay in Calafate at least 2 days, 2 nights, 2, 3 nights. In case you have 3 nights, you will be giving your clients the possibility to have probably 1 free day to choose among the other tours that are very interesting and that can be part or not in the program. But with 3 nights, you will be for sure giving more time to your clients to do very interesting tours. Or of course, you can include the tour directly in the program. El Calafate, the city of El Calafate will be our basis where our hotel will be located. But the Perito Moreno Glacier, that is our main attraction, why we choose to go to El Calafate, is not located in El Calafate. You don't see the glacier from El Calafate. So you need to go to the park to do the tour and do the tour to the Perito Moreno Glacier. So from El Calafate, you need to take the tour that will takes you to the Perito Moreno Glacier in the tour. But there are many other tours that depart from El Calafate, and some of them are boat tours that can be done also to see and appreciate other glaciers that are in the area. Those are part of the other tours I explained you recently that can be offered to our clients. So the main tours, if we are doing a program with El Calafate 2 nights, for example, so for sure we'll be doing the full day to Perito Moreno. This is, again, a world-famous attraction. We go to El Calafate to see this glacier that is impressive. It's a must to go to the Perito Moreno. And it's a full day tour, but we can do in a half day if necessary. Basically, this tour takes you, well, you depart from the hotel in El Calafate to the national park where the Perito Moreno is located. And the idea is that you can spend the time in the paths that are located in front of the glacier. This is the impressive thing of visiting this glacier. You are so close to the glacier, and so it's impressive, the landscape, the environment. So the idea is that you can spend the time just admiring the glacier in front of you, but from the paths. So the idea is that you can also consider the possibility to do also the optional boat tour that I will show you next. These are again pictures about the paths from the in front of the glacier. So the idea is just to stand there and admire the glacier and some impressive glacier that is the Perito Moreno. It's one of the glaciers that is still growing, if you know already. So this is something very special about this glacier. It's still growing, so it's not typical, it's not common. The Safari Nautico, this is the boat tour that I recommend you. Can be offered as optional tour anyway, but this is the tour I recommend you that you do or offer to your clients, because it will be a plus in the tour, because with the boat tour, it's about 1 hour. You will be sailing very close to the front of the glacier. So you will be getting an approach to the glacier. So it's very nice. Another tour that you can do is the mini trekking, but in this case, you do or the traditional tour or the mini trekking. Normally, the traditional tour is the one included, because not all the people can do the mini trekking. But just for you to know, there is a possibility to do a trekking over the glacier if you want. This is a mini trekking. There are many other boat trips in El Calafate that can be done if we have more time. But as I say, we need 3 nights in El Calafate to do. The idea is that you can also get involved and you can appreciate any of the other glaciers in the area, not only the Perito Moreno. For example, the All Glaciers boat tour will give you the chance of doing a boat tour, appreciate all other of the glaciers that are in the area. Like, for example, the Uppsala Glacier that you can see from the distance. It's not approaching so close to the glacier, but you can see from the distance from the boat. So it's very interesting to give the opportunity to do this tour. Estancia Cristina is also another full day tour. Again, that you need time in El Calafate to do this, and it's a boat tour, but it's also combining a boat tour with the day in the ranch. The ranch is offering different programs. Depending on the programs, the price, of course, will be different, and the activities included during the day in the ranch will be different. We have from a classic program to something more complete, depending on the program. We are not going to go very deep into this tour, but you have different programs, and the activities can be different depending on the program you choose. So this is Estancia Cristina, this other tour. We also have Estancia Nivepoaique. Estancia is the Spanish name, sorry, because it's a ranch Nivepoaique. If you would like to spend a day in a ranch to see how it's a Patagonian ranch and get involved with activities, typical activities of the ranch in the Patagonia area, you can do the tour. Sometimes we have a half day. Normally when we arrive, we have an afternoon at leisure. So in that case, a good idea is to offer the visit to the Glaciarium. That is the museum that is dedicated to the glaciers in El Calafate. So it's very, very interesting. And the idea is that you can visit in a half day if you have time. On the arrival day, for example, would be a good idea. Just for you to know, because normally El Chaltén is not visited with 3 nights, we have not enough time, but El Chaltén is another popular destination that you can get from El Calafate with 2 hours transportation from El Calafate, and it's very popular for those that are interested in doing the trekkings. So remember that you can go to El Chaltén to do trekkings, or offer and include El Chaltén if you have the intention to offer trekking programs that are very interesting and popular for many people. That is coming from Asia as well. Just for you to remember, these are the landscapes we can see. Some of the landscapes we can see staying in El Chaltén or doing some of the trekkings. This is a landscape you get only doing an minimum 8-hour trekking in El Chaltén. So well, up to here is Argentina, the main destinations in Argentina. So we can continue now with Brazil, which is our next country. For Brazil, we will be seeing one destination also, which is Rio de Janeiro, the most popular, sorry. So Brazil, it's, well, the official language is the Portuguese. So it's a different language than the one you will listen in the other countries in the program. The currency is the real, and the climate is more cálid, so depending on the destination, but it's mainly cálid because of the location of this country all over the destinations, and in Rio de Janeiro, for sure. The main airports we can be using is the airport in Rio de Janeiro or in Sao Paulo, as I explained before. So Rio de Janeiro is the city located here. So remember, this is the order. We arrive, for example, in this order to Buenos Aires. We can go to El Calafate or not, depending on the time. We will continue to Iguazu. From Iguazu, we can continue to Rio de Janeiro if it's, for example, a program combining Argentina and Brazil only. Or we will be going to Peru before Brazil, in most of the cases, from Iguazu. This is the order we will be doing in a program. So Rio de Janeiro is the city we will see in Brazil. It's called like Cidade Maravilhosa. Sorry, I don't speak Portuguese, but this is the more or less the pronunciation in Portuguese, Cidade Maravilhosa, the wonderful city in its translation to English. Well, it's the main touristical city. It's not the capital of Brazil. It used to be the capital, the old capital of Brazil. It's very popular and known around the world because of the holidays, the end of the year holidays, and also for the Carnival. Pay attention, because if you are not going to, you are not interested in going to Rio de Janeiro for the Carnival, the idea is to try to avoid the Carnival days because are very complicated to work with. The bookings and the prices, of course, are higher. So try to avoid the Carnival date. Besides of that, you can travel to Rio de Janeiro all year round, and the minimum night, 3 nights, but what we do today, we will see today, can done also with 2 nights. So you can see 2 or 3 nights, that is okay. We can do the more interesting attractions. And we also have 2 airports in Rio de Janeiro. The one that is used for the international is Galeão, but it's also a domestical in the city that it can be also used in case we are flying, for example, from Sao Paulo or from Foz do Iguaçu. We can use also that airport, so pay attention. I would like to show you quickly this map just to give you an idea where are the attractions located. These are the names that will be familiar for you for sure. Copacabana Beach. We have the Sugarloaf over here. We have the Corcovado, the Cristo Redentor over here, the Maracanã, and the downtown. So normally the hotels are located in the beach area, like Copacabana, for example, and we also have Ipanema, Leblon, that are also nice beaches in the city. But Copacabana is like the traditional or the most popular one. The main tours in Rio de Janeiro, for example, if we stay 2 nights, we can do in a half day the Covado Hill. The Covado Hill, that is the hill where the Cristo Redentor stands. We have different ways, it's a half-day tour, and we have different ways to ascend to the Cristo Redentor. Basically, this tour takes you from the hotel to a basis in the hill where we transfer from the vehicle to any of the transportation that will take you to the upper side. We can go by train, that is what we normally do in private services and with groups. We use the train. In a 20 minutes ride, you get the basis of the Christ Redeemed. But there are also vans that are the only ones that can be used to get the Christ Redeemed, and there are also jeeps. But normally we use the train, is the most typical way to access to the Christ Redeemed. So basically, so after the train, a 20 minutes ride, you get to the basis of the Christ Redeemed. That is one of the new modern 7 wonders of the world, the Christ Redeemed. It's also the Covado Hill located in the Tijuca forest. That is one of the, is the bigger, is the longest forest located in a city, the Tijuca forest, where the Covado Hill is located. And so when we arrive with the train to the bases, we have different stairs to get this place over here. We can use mechanical stairs, normal stairs, we have elevators. And so we stay a time in the bases of the Christ Redeemed and then go back to the hotel. The Sugarloaf is the other popular tour in a half day that we can do in Rio de Janeiro. Again, you depart from the hotel, and basically this tour takes you to the top of the Sugarloaf in 2 parts, because using a cable car in 2 parts. First of all, you go to the Urca Hill, and then you continue the second part of the cable car up to directly to the Sugarloaf. And from here, the same happens with from the Corcovado. The idea is that you can take beautiful panoramic views of the city from the top of these both places. This is one of the ideas of visiting and doing these tours. So from here, we have panoramic views. This is a panoramic view of the Sugarloaf. This is the Sugarloaf, and this is a panoramic view of the Sugarloaf. Here is also, again, and so as you can see from the top, you will have a beautiful views of the city and their surroundings. And something that is also common to do during the visit in Rio de Janeiro is a city tour. But because we have not enough time, normally what we do is combine some of the attractions included in a city tour during in a combination with Corcovado or with the Sugarloaf. We normally do like a bus ride to some of the attractions of the city tour. Normally, a city tour itself is not included in the program, but we can see some of these buildings in combination with the Corcovado or Sugarloaf. Of course, this is something we need to arrange just to do the combination, especially for you. For example, some of the buildings we find in a city tour are the Municipal Theater. Lapa is the Bohemian neighborhood in Rio de Janeiro. The Rio Cathedral, that is also interesting to pass by because of its special architecture that has this building. Well, the Maracanã Stadium is also one of the highlights in Rio de Janeiro. The entrance fee is not included. We will do a pass by if necessary, but visits inside are also available as possible. But you need to let us know that you need the entrance fees. If not, the Maracanã is a pass by. Also Copacabana Beach, Flamengo Park. Those are the different attractions that we will see during the visits in Rio de Janeiro. The Sambódromo, that is the place where the carnival takes place, as you can see in this picture, but when we do in a tour, of course, we pass by the Sambódromo, this carnival place. Will be empty, of course, outside the carnival dates. Some of the other buildings we see during the visit to the city or in a city tour. The National Library, the Imperial Palace, the Lagoon, Rodrigo da Freitas. And I insist, sometimes those are the highlights that can be seen in the combination or as part of the tour to Sugarloaf or the Corcovado Hill. Another recommendation, if you would like to offer and include in the program, because sometimes it's not part of the program, but I would like to recommend you, is by night going to see a typical show at Xinga Tropical. That is a show, you go here, you don't have dinner as in Buenos Aires. Here is only the show. You arrive, you first have a samba lesson, and then the show starts and you return to the hotel. This is after dinner time. And something that can be interesting also is to go and see, do this tour, the Carnival behind the scenes, that takes you to see some of the schools of carnivals that are taking place in Rio de Janeiro, to get involved with the people that is dancing during the carnival, so you can see how they prepare, how they are practicing the dancing. So this is also something that can be very fun, and you can consider. This tour over here, you don't see it in traditional program, but I would like to show you also as other possibility that you can do once in Rio de Janeiro. Okay, up to here, Rio de Janeiro. I remember that if you have doubts, if you have questions along this webinar, you can use the chat box. Try to also add your email just in case that we need to answer you something after this webinar, just to don't forget your contact. So, okay, Peru. Peru is our next destination, our last country for today. The capital city is Lima. And here also the Spanish is the official language, same as us in Argentina. Depending on the location, depending on the city, we can find the diverse weathers also. The main airports are the Lima, where the international flight can be arriving or departing, depending on the program we arrange. Or from Lima, we can continue to Rio de Janeiro, for example, and we use also the airport in Cusco. That this is the other destination we will see today. So let's start for the first destination. So Lima. Lima is the capital city, but normally we stay in Lima no more than one night. Normally we use Lima like a first night to arrive to the country, and we continue on the next day. So normally you will see Lima is no more than one night, but we of course take advantage of our stay in Lima, and we do the city tour. This is a panoramic view of the city. Lima city is located in front of the Pacific Ocean. So it's the capital city. Remember that depending on the program, normally we will arrive into Iguazu. Before going to Brazil, if we will include Peru, we'll be flying to Lima. And Rio de Janeiro, Brazil will be at the end. So we go to Lima from Iguazu. It's a 4-hour flight. And then if we continue from Lima, for example, to Rio de Janeiro, or in that case, we'll be coming from Cusco, but the flight from Lima to Rio de Janeiro, it takes 5 hours and 30 minutes. So there are many flights to connect one city to the other one. So remember that in that case, we can help you and assist you in booking those tickets. And you need to take care only of the international flights only. So here in Lima, as I say, we stay one night only. We can enjoy anyway the gastronomy, the culture, and we can also do some shopping during this stay. So what we do in Lima will be a city tour, and some of the highlights we will include it is the San Martin Square, the main square that we call the Arms Square. Normally we see this name Arms Square in these cities that used to be colonial cities. The main square were used to call Arms Square. This is very typical. So we see the Arms Square and the buildings surrounding the Arms Square, like the government palace, the town hall. Again, remember, the entrance fees are not included unless we specify this in the program. This is all the time buildings that we see from the front or passing by with the bus. The cathedral. Then the church and the convent on San Francisco, we will be appreciating during the city tour the different types of architecture that we see in the different buildings along the city tour. Then we go to the Miraflores. That is this is a neighborhood in Lima where we find the modern and newest area of the city. And we find also here Del Amor Park. Like you can see this statue over here at Del Amor Park. Miraflores is a new neighborhood where you see different parks and green areas in the city. And we find in this area the Barranco area, that is a bohemian area in Lima. We find in this place the bridge of the size that is very popular. And this is a typical picture of Lima taken from this very special bridge in Lima. You can also do some shopping. Larcomar is one of this is an open air shopping mall in front of the coast. And also we can go to Huacapucliana, part of the city tour. This is a ceremonial, used to be a ceremonial center of the ancient Lima culture. That is also can be part of the city tour. Just to start getting into the ancient times of Peru, we go to this place. The museum Larco Herrera, the museum entrance fee, again, won't be included, at least you asked for this. This is an archaeological museum that is where we can see different elements related with the pre-Columbian time in Peru. And also Casa Aliaga is another museum. It used to be, it was originally it was a building that has been built in the colonial time of Peru that has been destroyed for an earthquake. And after that, the building has been rebuilt, trying to keep the same style. And you can visit inside, if you, of course, include the entrance fee, to see different paintings and many furniture that are the main attractions of this museum. So up to here, Lima, remember, we arrive to Lima, we do the city tour, and on the next day, we will continue to our next destination that will take more time for us in the program. That is Cusco, because Cusco is the city that is our basis to get the Machu Picchu. That is probably one of the main reasons why we travel and choose to travel to Peru. So from Lima to Cusco, again, you need to fly and you need to take a flight to get Cusco. Once in Cusco, we will be doing the city tour. I will show you next. So the suggested minimum stay is 3 nights here. Not less than that, because there are a lot of things to do, and many of the tours are full day, like Machu Picchu, for example. So the recommendation is not less than 3 nights. Normally, we stay 3 nights in Cusco, sorry. So this is why you can see 3 nights in Cusco, plus 1 night in Lima. So we need, for Peru, minimum 4 nights. So just, you can see that you are adding a lot of nights in each destination. So the total of the program will be no less than 8 nights in total. So we arrived to Cusco, the airport, Cusco airport. You can visit again all year round this city, but pay attention in case you would like to travel on summertime, our summertime, it agrees with the raining season. So it's summertime, so the weather will be better, but it's a raining season that sometimes is not good if you would like to go to Machu Picchu and try to get the best as possible weather. Because as you can see, the landscape is very important in Machu Picchu, so the weather is a good weather is very important. So remember, because I'm telling you this because sometimes I receive questions asking which is the best time to visit Peru. And so this is the pros and contras for why a visit on summertime and rainy season, or on long season, which is the dry season. And probably you will be avoiding rainy. That is great to visit Machu Picchu. So, well, the main tours in Cusco, We will be doing the city tour that we'll be doing in combination with the archaeological park. This is just to take advantage of our time in Cusco. And we will be, again, going deep to all the archaeological interesting places that Peru has to offer, because one of the reasons and the attractions of visiting Peru is to get deep into the Inca Empire culture and everything that we can still see that allowed to the Inca Empire. So with the city tour in Cusco, we start going into all this information before arrive to Machu Picchu. So we do the city tour in combination with the archaeological park of Sacsayhuamán. When we do the city tour, we visit the cathedral, the Arch of Santa Clara, the San Francisco Church. And then going outside the city, but anyway, everything is very close to the city. Everything we will see now, anyway, is very close to the downtown, to the city center of Cusco. So we start to see some of the archaeological places, sites of interest, temples close to Cusco. For example, the Coricancha temple, where this sun temple is located at, and in the top, we find the Santo Domingo, the Saint Dominic convent, which is this building over here. This is part of the city tour if we do the city tour with Sacsayhuamán, not the city tour only. All these places we will see now. Sacsayhuamán. Sacsayhuamán used to be a fortress, so we will visit this place that used to be a fortress where we will see these huge rocks that rises up to 4 meters that were used for its construction. This is not only a place interesting for its old fortress, but it's also a very nice place because of the surroundings that you can see in this area. It's very nice, all the surroundings of Sacsayhuamán. Like you can see in this picture, it's a landscape totally different to any city. Then we continue to Coquenko. Coquenko is an archaeological complex that has been destroyed by Spanish many years ago. And actually, you can still see what couldn't be destroyed by Spanish, that are all those rocks that were carved in the area. And you can find, for example, still this altar of sacrifices that you can see here that has been built in the inner part of a rock. This is some of the attractions in this archaeological complex. We continue to Pucará. Normally, we see this, we see in a panoramic view. We don't include Pucará with the visiting side unless at least you ask for this. Pucará used to be a watchtower that was used to check and control all the access to the city many years ago. So remember and check if you are interested on the visiting side, you need to advise. If not, will be panoramic view only. Then Tambo Machai, where we see the fountains of health and life. And up to here, the different attractions, including the city tour with the archaeological park. And on the next day, we will be doing our first full day tour to the Sakura Valley and Pisac and Ollantaytambo. It's a full day tour. One of the suggested full day tours that, again, you may find in a program departing from Cusco. It's a full day tour that, as you can see in this map over here, depart from Cusco, go to Pisac, go to Ollantaytambo, that is the final destination, and all these that you can see here is our Sakura Valley. It's part of the Sakura Valley. So we will see some of the attractions in the Sakura Valley when we do this tour, but the area is bigger than this. So we we'll start with our first attraction place is Aguanacancha. This is our first stop. Aguanacancha is like a living museum where we will find different South American camelids, and it's an exhibition center of textiles. You can get some if you want, and you will be getting to how is the traditional process of the weaving and the making the garments during this tour. You get all that information, and you get some textiles if you want also. Before continue to our next stop, that will be Pisac Market. It's a local market where local families are shown their handcraft. Also here you can get some textiles, different souvenirs, everything handcraft can be taken and can be seen during the visit to the Pisac Market. Then after the market, we will have time for lunch before continue to our next and final destination in the Sakura Valley, that is Ollantaytambo. That Ollantaytambo is actually, we can see that it's actually as the typical example of the urban planning of the Incas. Actually nowadays, families living there are still keeping old traditions, and they are living still with the old Inca traditions. And the idea is that you spend time visiting Ollantaytambo and this archaeological complex that is one of the most important complex that belonged to the Inca Empire. And after the visit to Ollantaytambo, we return to the hotel in Cusco. Okay, all these tours are done from Cusco. And our next tour, and this is the final tour, so we are almost about to end very soon. Our next is the final tour of today, and it's one of the main attractions, is the visit to the Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu is a full-day tour that you do from Cusco. Of course, you have the possibility to spend a night in Aguascalientes town. I will show you. If not, it's a full-day tour. You depart from Cusco and you return at the afternoon to your hotel in Cusco. It will depend on you. You can also spend night in Sakura Valley, but normally a traditional popular program will be doing this in a full day, just to take advantage of our stay in Cusco and our nights in the program. So when we depart from Cusco, first of all, we need to reach the train station. We depart from the hotel up to the train station because we will board a train. Just for you to know, important detail, we have 2 train stations. It will depend on the train and the day. We can depart from Poroy station or Ollantaytambo station, that is located in the place we just seen in the previous tour. Poroy station is close to the city. For this reason, the train ride will take longer. And Ollantaytambo is located in the Sakura Valley, so the train ride will be shorter. And another important detail, but from Poroy station, the train to Machu Picchu takes 3 hours and 30 minutes. And from Ollantaytambo station, because you are closer, the train takes 1 hour and a half. So the train ride will be different. The time of the train ride will be different depending on the station from where you depart. And another important detail, there are different trains. Different trains operators. Peru Rail and Inca Rail are the names, and are different trains doing this service from Cusco to Machu Picchu. So pay attention to that, because normally if you don't have any preference, we will be using a medium and average option. But if you have something cheaper, or if you have something, you prefer something deluxe, like the case of Iran Bingham, we can do that. But this is something we need to convert. This is something we need to discuss. You have to let us know. So the different trains we have. The Iran Bingham is the deluxe one. The differences between the trains are basically the services that are included inside the train, and also the comfort and the train itself are different. And so this is why you can have any preference. And the prices, of course, are different. And sometimes a better train is even more convenient on price. This is something that probably will be giving you suggestions at that moment. This is the other train that we can find, Vista Dom, that normally is the one we include when we quote your request. If you don't have any preference, we probably will be using the Vista Dom. No matter the train we will use, the time to get the Machu Picchu is always the same, no matter the train you use. The only difference will be the station from where you depart. The other train we have is the Expedition. That is like the cheaper option of the previous one we saw. And we also have this other train, the Inca Rail, that is operated for the other operator. And it's only this train, for example, it's departing only from Ollantaytambo station. So remember, those are special details for you to have on mind when we are going to offer Machu Picchu. The train service, pay attention which is the one we will be included, and also from which station will be departing. Just those are the important details that you can explain to your clients. So after the train ride, we arrive to Aguascalientes, that is the closest town to the Machu Picchu, to where we find in the area the last stop of the train. And in Aguascalientes is a little town where we find some restaurants, some hotels. You can spend the night in case you would like to spend the night close to Machu Picchu. So the accommodation will be in Aguascalientes. And from here, we need to do a transfer to get the vehicles that will take us to Machu Picchu. The only vehicles that can take us to the Machu Picchu, these are the only vehicles that are authorized. So we cannot do in a different vehicle. So we need to take the sitting coach buses all the time, because these are the only ones that can use to get the Machu Picchu. And it's about 30 minutes to get the entrance to the Machu Picchu, which is the citadel, the sacred citadel of the Incas. And like you can see in this picture, is the way up to the citadel. We do this with this bus. Of course, you can do also by walk, by trekking, by hiking, but it's not what we do in the conventional tour. So after the 30 minutes, we get the entrance to the citadel, and we will have some minutes to go to the restrooms, and then the guided tour starts. The time in the Machu Picchu won't be longer than 2 hours and 45 minutes, because it's arranged in that way we can stay longer. So we will have the guided tour after we get the Machu Picchu. And basically, Machu Picchu, as you can see, and of course, I know that all of you already heard about Machu Picchu, as well as the other attractions we saw before, is one of the main attractions in the tour, in the program to South America. I really hope, if you have the chance to visit Machu Picchu, to get a good weather. This is what we discussed before. If possible to go, if you are going on summertime, on the rainy season, the weather can be good or not, we don't know. We cannot guarantee this to our clients, but if you go on the right season, it's mostly possible that you can get a good weather with the clean sky to appreciate all the surroundings that are very impressive of the Machu Picchu. So you have the time here to visit with the guided tour, all the different areas, all the different places you find in the citadel, different terraces, different corridors, temples, ruins, sacred places. It's very amazing, and of course it's an incredible archaeological site of the Incas. You can stay here and feel the kind of the magic, the energy that this place inspires all the tourists that have the opportunity to visit Machu Picchu in their lives. So these are some other pictures from different point of views of Machu Picchu. as you can see over here. And after the guided tour, so we return to Cusco in the same way than before. We return to the train station and take our train back to the city in the same way we go before. During the morning, we return by the afternoon. Probably you will have the lunch in Aguascalientes, and then you return to Cusco by the afternoon. So, well, I hope I wasn't so fast, but really I didn't want to take a lot of time with this webinar, but it's many information, I know. I really hope it has been helpful for you. And of course, I said again, it's an introduction. It's an introduction to South America and the main destinations. Of course, it's much more than this, but the idea is that you can get today a first and initial information about the destination that you can sell and start offering and understand a little bit more some of the programs we are offering to you and in our tour book. I would like to invite you, all of you, to follow us on our social media. We have Instagram, we have YouTube. In fact, this webinar has been recorded and will be then in our YouTube channel. If you want to repeat and see again and check any information, it's something that you didn't understand, you can come back and see this webinar via our YouTube. So we invite you to follow us on the social media. And I really, really hope you have learned today, you have enjoyed the experience of having this webinar with us. If you are still there and if you would like to turn on your video cameras, I really appreciate that, because we would like to do a picture, a photo of all your faces for our social media. So if you don't be shy, I really appreciate you can turn on your video. I would like to see your faces. Some of you, I know that you already know me. So happy to see you again. And some faces didn't see never before. So Romy, maybe we can take some picture when they turn on the video. Well, the idea is that then probably we are uploading some of our pictures in our social media, so go to see us in Instagram. So, well, Romy, can we maybe do some pictures? So smile. You can say hi if you want. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate your time. We are about to go to sleep, in fact. So I know that you are starting your day. Really appreciate your time. And well, we remain on disposal, okay? We remain on disposal. Anything you may need at any time, just write us. And any doubt, don't be shy. You can write us, and any question, you have already our contacts, and we'll be happy to assist you at any time. Okay, so up to here, this webinar. Thanks for your time, and hope to see you soon again in person, hopefully. Stay safe, take care. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you. I see some familiar faces over there. Hi, Renee. Hi, Anne. Anne, MC Travel. Hi.
Thank you for the seminar. Thank you for this
Show.
webinar.
Thank you. Hello, Show. So, thank you for your time. Nice to see you.
From LA to Buenos Aires. Yeah, to Patagonia. Yeah, my wife is asking me when we're going. So
when you going? Yes, I know that you have your flight ticket, so yes. I'm waiting for you. You promised me that.
Thank you for
Okay,
staying.
thank you.
It's
Thank
time
you
for you
your
to sleep. It's already 1 o'clock.
No, it's a pleasure. It's a
Good night.
pleasure for me because the idea was to do this at your time, at the convenient time for you, just to have you as much as persons as possible joining us. So it's a pleasure
Yes.
for me. I'm always happy to see you. Okay.
We'll see you there.
See you.
Gracias.
Bye-bye.
Muchísimas.
Bye. Keep in touch.